Hey guys, how's it going? Dr. EG3 here, your coach, your mentor, your friend. Welcome to What I'm Up To Wednesday, where I get the opportunity to tell you guys what I'm working on, share with you the things that I'm struggling with, but then also share the areas that I believe that I'm successful. The goal is to have more wins than struggles, but as we all acknowledge, struggle is a part of the process, so we just need to make sure our wins are just that much more impactful. Again, this series is intended to rip back the layer of with the images of success, so we can give you a real life picture on, so we can learn together and really figure out what this whole journey around entrepreneurship, self-development, just becoming a better person is all about. And again, I want to just share with you guys my journey so that, again, we can learn together. Maybe you guys can teach me, let me know in the comments, or, we can learn together, but hopefully you guys find this all valuable. So this week's What I'm Up To Wednesday is going to be a little different because I know that the last 2 weeks were very focused. Week 1, we're working on trying to develop your goals, your aspirations, and your non-negotiables. Last week, we're focused on trying to figure out our routines, our habits, and then also the behaviors that come from supporting those dreams, goals, and aspirations. But this week, I just want to be a little bit different, right? I want to be a little different because, ultimately, sometimes life comes and life happens and you get caught up and you get busy and have other priorities. And definitely it's okay, right? So that's part of understanding our journey as we go through this process, that every day is not going to be set on pursuing and chasing. It's the idea of having those landmarks and those milestones out there, but again, also still trying to live life in a journey. Now, I wish I could say that most of us will have the opportunity to be able to pursue our goals, our aspirations, our dreams with full abandonment. Now, for those of us who have won the lottery, maybe that's something that you can do, or maybe have different levels of support. But I'll tell you, mine is being able to have to chase all of this and pursue this while still, having other responsibilities. But the great news is, through the first week or so, I've recognized that those responsibilities are not only a part of my non-negotiables of being able to absolve myself of that responsibility, but also they actually are a part of my goals and aspirations, and they fit in. So I just had a very busy, kind of week and a half. And again, it's okay. I was tied up doing other things, but I wanted to just share this week with a conversation with you guys that I had with someone, and it was very surprising, and it kind of helped me. I never thought about it before, but when they posed the question to me, it was just very illuminating. So I was having a conversation with an individual. We're talking about just something like, completely not of the same subject, and they just kind of leaned in and just said, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?" Now, when somebody asks you or pause you and ask you about a personal question, your mind, you never know what they're going to ask, especially depending on what kind of setting you're in, right? So I wasn't sure exactly where the question was going to go, but they leaned in and said, "I'm just curious. Why and how are you always so positive?" I was actually surprised by the question. Because I never really consider myself to be like a positive person. I've always viewed myself as being a realist. You know how they have two different people that we've talked about. Some of them are, the glass half full people and the glass half empty people. And I've always viewed myself as really neither, because I just recognize that I could always refill the glass or pour it out if I don't like it and start fresh, right? So I always think about this renewal of the mind, just kind of always can, refresh, renew, pour more water in the glass, but not the point of the story. So it kind of took me back a little bit, and it made me think, how am I always, so positive or whatever? And I asked them to explain, and they mentioned just how I always project as though that I'm positive. And they said, "I'm sure you have bad days, but it's like we never see it." Now, I'll kind of give an analogy of like how I explain to person. So the way I view this is that if I believe that I'm to be a service to the world and that I am an individual who is out giving service and helping other individuals, the struggles and the concerns and things that I have is that the world or other individuals, that's not what they don't want my troubles, right? And that's not to say that they're not empathetic. That's not to say they're not of concern. That's not to say that they don't want to hear those stories, because I'm sure that they do. But when I'm interacting with others and I'm serving people, they deserve my best. And it doesn't really matter in that moment ultimately what I'm going through. I could be tired, I could be frustrated, I could be upset about another scenario. But I have to kind of put on my game face and get in the game and do the service that I believe that I'm here for the world. So whether that's me interacting through a coaching conversation or a mentor conversation or delivering a presentation or facilitating a session, it almost doesn't really matter what I'm going through. And that's not self-deprecating. That's not saying that what I'm going through doesn't matter. It's that for me, it's that my service to others is much more important than what I may be going through in a moment. Hopefully that makes sense. So maybe let me say it another way. So maybe give you a story. So imagine you and I are going to my favorite restaurant. And, we sit down at the table and, we're sitting down, we're waiting for our bread and our water, someone to come take our drinks order. And it's super, it seems to be busy, seems to be a lot that's going on. And, the waitress, watching her walk around or him walk around, we see that he has multiple tables and, maybe overbooked for a section, right? Well, I'm famished, right? I had a long day. I could be apathetic to the idea that he has business of tables. I could be very concerned that, maybe they're short staffed, but really I kind of want my juice or my water or him take my drink order or get some bread for the table, right? So sometimes, when you are, being serviced or being served, you don't always think about those pieces of what's going on with the other individual. We don't always think about so really from a customer service perspective, the troubles and ills of what's going on with that restaurant are kind of not my concern, right? That's kind of for me. Now, before you guys jump on and be like, Dr. Emmanuel, Dr. EG3, that is so that seems to be so not, positive, or that seems to be so selfish of you. Well, what I've just come to realize is that, through my years of engaging with people is that, the troubles and ills that I'm having, whether it's, I'm working somewhere and the computer systems are down, or whether I'm, working in a restaurant and the fryer catches on, starts to burn up, right? Or, we ran out of, self-serve ice cream or something, right? From a consumer perspective, those ills are not my customers' issues, they're my issues, right? And if I'm to service the world, it's my job to try to manage those the best that I can. It's my job to try to not impede the service that I'm providing. So, if the computer systems are down, it's for me to figure out a resolution for my consumers that are coming through my point of sale so that I can best take care of them. If my fryer caught on fire, so to speak, I'm gonna talk about fryer, you fry your French fries or whatever. If my grease trap catches on fire, then it's up to me to make sure that my customers of my restaurant are in the best, safest condition possible, then also being able to get their French fries. Or, so hopefully that kind of makes sense. So I guess how am I so positive is just that I realize the ills that I may be having or the things that I'm going through are not necessarily anyone else's business, and ultimately not their concern. So it's my job to step forward, to step above myself, recognize that I'm serving the world, and then I always just try to put my best foot forward. Now, that doesn't mean it's not challenging. That doesn't mean it's not always a struggle, but guess what I do? Sometimes I know that, hey, I gotta go deliver that lecture. And as soon as I'm done, I'll go back in my office and I'll cry under my desk, rocking back and forth, right? Or I go deliver or facilitate that session or have that coaching call with an individual. And then as soon as I hang up the phone, I'm going to get my pint of ice cream and, drowning my troubles away in a pint of Rocky Road or something like that, right? So, hopefully that helps, hopefully it resonates, guys. Let me know. I know, like I said, I know it seems kind of weird, but at the end of the day, that's kind of what my, what I'm up to Wednesday, kind of reflected on that. And I really appreciate that individual for asking me that question, because I never really thought about it that way of how they presented. I never really thought myself as being a positive person, but like I said, I definitely know that I'm a realist. I take situations for what they are. I give proper time to grieve. I give proper time to be sad. I give proper time to be happy. But when it's go time, I go, right? I understand that I got to kind of pack it away a little bit for a short time, right? And that's the key, short time. I don't pack things away long term. I put my poker face on when it's time to play poker, right? But also put on an Uno face when it's time to play Uno, draw. You guys know about that, right? So anyway, comment below, guys, if this helped. Like I said, I know this what I'm up to Wednesday is a little different, but again, wanted to at least, share that with you guys to see maybe if you reflect on. Let me know what you think. Comment below, share it with somebody but otherwise, guys, if you need me, let me know, reach out, message me, text me, DM me, call me, send a carrier pigeon, doesn't matter. Let me know, down what you thought about this, but then also is there another topic that you guys want me to chat through or talk about or reflect on, and maybe we can talk about it together. As always, guys, love you much. See you next time.